And now, my children, the drivers are ready. The world is waiting. Once more, I give you what you want. Yes, it's the science fiction rating system, and we know that this is what you want. I feel like we've been on holiday again. Have we been on holiday again?
We've only missed 1 week in podcast terms.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I think really that's pretty good planning, considering we've not done this for about a month.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good planning.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like ages since I've watched these films.
Exactly. So this will be fun. Anyway, it's the science fiction rating system. As I said, we're here to rate and review and list and put films in a giant list. That was the concept. It's still going. It still works, isn't it? We're still doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still happening. How many years is it now?
5.5.
5.5 years?
Yeah, January 17 we started.
God. Wow. Fucking hell. Anyway, as that sinks in, let me introduce you to my co-host. I am Alex Humphrey, and I am joined by Chris Redding. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Going to the Fringe tomorrow.
Up to the Fringe, up to the Edinburgh.
Nice.
What are you looking forward to seeing there?
I booked a few things, but, I like to discover new acts.
Okay.
I see myself as a Simon Cowell sort of character.
Yeah. Do you just stand up in the middle of them and go, this isn't for me, have you got something else?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. You're just looking for new talent, is that what you're there for?
Absolutely, yeah.
Good.
You're not doing an act yourself this year?
No.
No.
Good.
Not myself, sorry.
No. And also Sam Draper. Hey, Sam.
Hello.
How are you? Mondays are bad days. You're turning to Garfield, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mondays from now on are all right.
Oh, okay.
Just have some shit to deal with.
Yeah.
You know how life throws shit at you. But
It does. It does. Anyway, we are here with Death Race 2000, the 1975 film, directed by Paul Bartel, who made that film Eating Raoul. Have you heard of that film? I think it's like a cannibal film. Anyway, none of that is important. The big important...
Raoul.
Eating Raoul. Anyway, the most important person behind this is Roger Corman. That's who... that's what this really is. It's a Roger Corman film. And we're doing Death Race 2000 as part of a little mini season that we just started last week. So last week we did the original Rollerball. So this will be we're doing the original Death Race 2000, and then we're going to do the remake of Rollerball and the remake of Death Race. So it's kind of like a mini Futuresport remake season.
Bloodsport season. Yeah. So yeah, Death Race 2000. Had you guys seen Death Race 2000?
No.
Did you never seen
I
that?
had, yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
Unless it'd gone in when I was young somehow. But
Had you played the game Carmageddon, Chris?
Surely.
How's it go?
You just drive along, and there are zombies, and you get more points for running the zombies over. It's very heavily influenced by this.
Do you remember how Carmageddon, when I was watching this, how long the levels were? Because you used to have to, didn't you have to kill all the zombies or something like that? So you'd be playing for hours, wouldn't you, on each level trying to get through them?
Carmageddon, I think it recently emerged that they filmed people, live action filmed people being hit by cars, not real, obviously actors.
What?
Yeah, the way they digitized it after, so they've released the footage of the people jumping into the cars and stuff like that. It looks really odd, but to get it to look right, they actually just did it basically.
That's not surprising, because I know something about one of the founders of that studio, which is not good.
Okay,
I can't say it on air because it's
interesting.
Slanderous.
the Carmageddon Splat Pack. That's got that for Christmas 1997.
Wow, it's a good game. Yeah, it was a good game.
It wasn't good. It was a rubbish game. I think it was rubbish because you just start a level and they were big open boring levels.
Yeah,
just drive around with no zombies. You could upgrade.
Games were shit back then.
Yeah,
all games are shit. That's the same year. Total Annihilation was out the same year.
Yeah.
That's the same year that came out.
Okay, take that back.
Well,
Best game ever.
This film, basically, Roger Corman made this because Rollerball was coming out and he heard about it and he was like, well, let's try and copy that then. And
it came out the week before, didn't it, in the cinema?
Yeah, but he'd sniffed that they were making something like this, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It's based on a story called The Racer by Ib Melchior. Melchior?
Melchior.
Yeah. And I've got here, the film retains only the basic premise of the original short story. The characters and incidents are all different. The story focuses on just one mechanic and driver and one anti-racer in particular, and it doesn't include the president or any of the special drivers. So it doesn't sound very good, basically. I don't know why they bought this. I mean, I guess the idea was that the basic premise, which is there's a race and you get points driving over people. I mean, that's really...
It's tenuous. You know, that guy's like claim to fame is that he was like a sort of copyright troll for Lost in Space, I think. He claimed to have invented it, but didn't really.
Really?
But then got paid anyway when the film came out in the 90s, because they're just like, to shut him up, but just paid him anyway.
Oh, God, that's quite a good scam, isn't it? Just claim that you invent
just keep going
stuff
about it until someone pays you something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you couldn't do that these days, but back in the day, that would be a pretty easy moneymaker, wouldn't it?
Again, this is all alleged. If Melchior's lawyer's listening, I don't... Hearsay.
Sorry, Ib. So the basic plot is set in a dystopian future where the USA has been restructured into a totalitarian regime ruled...
Oh, that old one.
Yep. Ruled by the iron fist of Mr. President. The public is kept enthralled and entertained by the ultra-violent annual Transcontinental road race where drivers and their navigators battle across America, scoring points by running down innocent bystanders. So, it's...
Basically wacky races.
It is, isn't it? It's like a very violent wacky races.
With tits.
Yeah, with tits. Yeah.
Lots of tits.
Yeah. Lots of tits. So
more tits than violence, which is not how I remember this film.
No. Oh, okay.
Remember it being very violent. It's not at all, is it?
The opening credits are very... Talking of wacky races and bad animation, the opening credits they're like children's drawings. Yeah, you know, like when you go to like Pizza Hut or McDonald's, they have a basic picture and then they've got all the different ways people have coloured it in differently.
Yeah.
Or like
just like scribble all across.
It just looks like that, doesn't it? It's like they gave out these like, here's a car, here's a wheel. John, you've put a tree in the middle. Very good. Well done. I'll put that in the credits. It says here that the director had Jane Room design the opening titles using money from the budget without getting Roger Corman's permission to do it. So he was probably a bit annoyed by that, because I wouldn't have wasted that money on the on that.
How much? It couldn't be much, could it really, though?
Yeah, but Roger Corman makes films on a very tight budget.
True, yeah.
So
the budget was like £12. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, weirdly, the opening is a bit like Rollerball, isn't it? In that you're kind of thrown straight in. You've got this like big band playing Stars and Stripes, and there's like you see all the people. Like it looks like a NASCAR, doesn't it? The audience, and I do quite like that it's just going along, and then there's just randomly a guy with a Nazi flag, and it is quite like jarring because you're just like, what? Why is he?
It's a more successful opening than Rollerball. Because...
Live footage from an actual NASCAR.
Yes. Because you know what a race is, it's more successful, I think, dropping in on it.
And I mean, I do have to say that majority of this film I spent really directly comparing it to Rollerball. I think that just because I'll lay my stall out early. I think it does achieve a lot that Rollerball fails. This does achieve. As in being entertaining and kind of powering along and having a plot that makes a bit more sense.
Having a plot full stop.
Yep. Basically we see this speedway and it's the 20th annual Transcontinental road race. Basically it's 5 races and there's 3 days of racing. You get this weird deacon. He's like a religious figure. There's a lot of
I like him.
Yeah.
The deacon's from something else, though, isn't it?
Oh, was he?
Isn't the deacon from Nick from something else?
Oh, do you think so? I don't know.
What,
the name?
Oh,
it's a religious thing, isn't it? The deacon.
Yeah, but it's in Mad Max or something, though, isn't it?
Oh,
maybe.
Probably, because a lot of it, like, co-ops religious stuff, don't they?
Yeah.
For it.
I do quite like. Yeah, you're right.
You're right, though. The deacon isn't something, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that Fury Road? Is that what it's called? Fury Road?
Or is it Waterworld or something?
Oh,
it's annoying me now. What is that?
It might be Fury Road. Isn't that the bad guy who chases them?
Is Dennis Hopper called Deacon in Waterworld?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll do some googling.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Thank you.
It's Waterworld. Yeah, Dennis Hopper, Waterworld.
There you go.
Shout.
But I mean, it's I quite like how all the kind of figures, like the president and this guy, they got that kind of they talk like those kind of preachers, don't they? Like that kind of like those like kind of southern
Televangelist
type. Yeah. I like all that. And then you've got the.
You like all that?
I like it how in this. I like it. I think it works in this as commentary.
He just can't help but get his credit card out when he sees it.
Yeah, I just got to give. But I don't remember there being commentary in the original Rollerball. There aren't commentators, are there?
Not the original one, I don't think. No, I think you're right.
I don't remember there being. I mean, and that seems a bit of a misstep because all sport has commentators.
I mean, this as a satire, this film works better from the start because if you want to get all film studies about it, the vernacular of the language is all TV, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
Everyone talks like they're on TV, not just them. Like every single person talks.
It's like the dodgeball style, which is so commonly used now.
Yeah. So you've got the three presenters. You've got Junior Bruce, who's this kind of like really overly happy, like he's really over the top with how he just.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is great.
He's a good performance. That guy.
He is great. And
they're all good, really.
Yeah, you've got Grace Panda, who's always,
great name.
Where she's always like, she just keeps saying, like a dear friend of mine. I was talking to Frankenstein, a dear friend of mine.
You know, she's. I thought she was called Panda, which I thought would be good, but it's Pandeer. I guess because she's pandering to people, isn't she? Makes sense. But I think the name Grace Panda Pandeer is a better name.
Yeah, I didn't.
So how's it spelt in this?
Pandeer. It's like he's pandering.
Yeah.
And then the other guy is called, I can't remember his name, but he's just a very traditional sports caster, isn't he? Oh, Harold, that's it. He's got that.
Harold, yeah.
He's got that very like like kind of American football delivery.
He's great.
Yeah.
And I love how they never ever break character. They they talk to each other like they're always on, and he always talks in that slow drawl like that. And the other one's always very up.
Yeah.
And she always starts with "my dear friends," and she talks.
And you're getting kind of introduced to the races. So let's run through the races. We've got Herman the German is the navigator for Matilda the Hun. And they're in this kind of buzz bomb like a Nazi. They're basically like far right Nazis, aren't they? They're just Nazis.
I've just found the Death Race wiki.
Oh, have you?
Oh, yeah.
It's good shit.
Oh. You got Calamity Jane, who's a kind of like she's a kind of feminist racer with her navigator is called Pete.
Country themed.
Yeah, she's
the weakest one, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. Yeah. You've got Nero the Hero, who is Martin Kove from Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. I don't know if he's and he's got Cleopatra is his and he's in a is he in the which one? Who's in the Bull? He's in the
no, he's not in the Bull, is he? Doesn't he get got at the start, Nero the Hero?
He does die. He does die quite early on. So it's the Buzz Bomb is the Matilda the Hun. Theirs is a lion car. That's it. Calamity Jane's a bull. And then you've got Sylvester Stallone in a very, very early credit as Machine Gun Joe Viterbo. And he's got Myra as his navigator, and his one's got just like machine guns on the front, isn't he? It's kind of a gangster thing,
and a sword, like a big blade in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the one that looks like it's ready for this sort of game,
ready for action.
Yeah.
And then the star of the show, the one, the only Frankenstein, played by David Carradine, and I think it
R.I.P.
I think he was straight out of Kung Fu from this, and he wanted to do something very different because he got famous for that TV show, and he basically wanted to do something where people wouldn't expect that he would be the star, because it's a very odd character, isn't it? I mean, he's introduced that he's unkillable and he's been rebuilt and he's had all this plastic and he's wearing a gimp suit, isn't he? Basically,
pretty much.
Yeah,
the $6 million gimp suit.
Yeah, but when he wears the mask, he's got weird eyes and mouth and everything. But when he takes the mask off, that's it's prosthetics, isn't it, in the mask to make him look all mucked up.
I was glad that was the case because it's so obviously not real, isn't it, when you first see it?
Yeah.
So the fact it's not real in world is...
and his navigator is Annie Smith, And she is, in fact, we find out a little bit later, she is, in fact, part of the resistance, the anti-racers, the people who want to get rid of the race. So, yeah, all this is kind of just like introducing, isn't it? We're introducing the cars and introducing, like, what's going on and the racing and everything like that. And it's kind of like, I think it's quite a nice opening. I think it kind of puts you in it, but it's not... it doesn't go on too long, does it?
For a race film, you want to know what the characters are, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy.
Yeah.
They get through all that quite nice and fast. And then they do that as a first bit, then it's like, now we'll explain the scoring. And I like how they unfold how, like,
gotta explain
bad
the
it
rules.
is.
Yeah, so they have Mr. President comes on and does this big speech, and he talks about the world crash of 79 and how America is now a global power. And it's kind of like, doesn't it? It seems to imply that America is this kind of like, separatist country against all the other. But doesn't he say he's coming from his palace, his summer palace in Beijing or something like weird like that, isn't it?
Well, I think because they're in Japan, aren't they, as well? Is that it's in Japan or something like that? And I think Europe's France, isn't it? Like
France is Europe is just France, basically.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that.
No. No one is, and America's everywhere. It's very odd, but yeah, as you say, they zoom off, and we get a kind of an explanation, and basically, it's all to do with hitting different people means different points. So women are 10 points, which is more than men in all age brackets. Teenagers are now 40 points. And toddlers and under 12s are 70. Anyone, any sex over 75 years has been up to 100 points. So it doesn't really say how many points men are. So I'm assuming men are 0 points? Maybe?
Yeah, must be point. No, because he gets 30 points. He says he gets 30 points killing his co-driver, so perhaps men are like 20 or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Must be worth something.
Yeah, so it's basically that you're racing, but then also the more people you hit, the more points you get. And there's a great bit later on, isn't it, where he kills his own pit crew, and they're just like, they're like, oh, no one's ever done that before. We haven't killed officials. They're just like, oh yeah, that's scoring now. You're allowed to get more points, doesn't it? Because Frankenstein does it, and then later on, Sylvester Stallone does it to get back. So they start racing, and there's a lot of action shots of that. And then we've got the main kind of plot, which is this. There's this old woman who's heading up the resistance. She is called Thomasina Payne, and she has her Lieutenant Fury, who they don't seem to agree, do they? But anyway, they want to stop the race, and they have planted Frankenstein's navigator is a plant, and she's supposed to... Well, the first plan is to drive him to this place and then replace him. And it's just like a terrible plan, isn't it? That's never going to work.
Because the guy literally jumps out in front of the car. I don't know what there's no...
Yeah.
I don't know what they were trying to achieve.
What they're planning to happen there.
Yeah. So that's their first plan, but then it kind of evolves from there. But I mean, it's quite good because early on it shows you, we kind of get that she's in on it, don't we? They're not hiding that. They kind of play that card quite early on.
Yeah. Have we gone past... My favourite kill is the euthanasia bit.
Oh,
it's quite early, isn't it?
Yeah, that is quite early.
Where they wheel out all the old people to be run over, and he goes behind the wall to kill the doctors. You just see them flipping up, don't you, over the hedge, which is good.
I mean, I do think, considering it was a low budget, they do a lot of smash cut to just a red jelly or something, don't they? Or just some nastiness. It's just some red nastiness, and you don't really know what it is, but it implies that you've seen a head blow up, or you've seen someone's leg get run over or something, doesn't it?
A lot of the hit and runs is just cut to a man tumbling over, isn't it? With no blood at all. Sort of.
Yeah, but I mean, they do. I think there's a lot of pretty good. I thought that in this beginning bit where you see them all race off, they're actually the streets are completely empty, aren't they?
Mm.
It's quite well. They've obviously either shot it really early in the morning. I don't think they'd have had the money to close the roads and stuff.
America's big, isn't it, though? You can find bits of America as no one around.
Yeah, but they start...
I quite like the racing shots. I think it's shot quite well.
And I think the cars... I mean, the cars look stupid, but they look quite good stupid, I think.
I think Frankenstein's is the worst.
The kind of monster car, yeah.
The green monster car. It's a bit...
Yeah.
I like Sylvester Stallone's car.
Yeah. And there's a kind of element in this film, it's a bit like The Purge, because most of the people are indoors... but then you get these random people like this guy comes out with a red cape, doesn't he, to try and with Calamity Jane, and she impales him. Like, there's people who've gone out to kind of like test the drivers, haven't they? And like,
do they ever say why it's happening other than just that people like it? They don't, do they? There's no like reason for it other than
it's like Rollerball. I think it's supposed to just placate the masses. It's supposed to just like, you know,
panacea for the
exactly. I think it's just supposed to be that.
The mob.
It is that bit when Frankenstein kills the doctors. That's when that Harold guy says, which only goes to show that even the fearsome Frankenstein has a 100% red-blooded American sense of humour. Like that. I quite like that bit. So they try and trap Frankenstein early on. It goes very badly wrong. And Thomasina as well, she crashes, doesn't she? She takes over the airwaves and kind of does a little message. And there's very much, a bit like Rollerball, there's very much this sense that whenever they stop, there's these guys in brown suits who are obviously the kind of like the president's men. And they're very much just like, oh no, nothing's going wrong, there's nothing happening. Because yes, the first kill is that Nero, the hero, tries to run over a baby, but it's a bomb and it just explodes and he dies.
Again, glad that baby, because that baby was so fake, but because the film's so cheap, I thought, oh god, they've really skimped on this baby, but then it's actually intentionally fake. So again, that's good, because I was worried there that it looks bad.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. I think they know what they're doing. Yeah. What it looks like, I think they know what they're doing. They know where they've. Roger Corman. He made great films. I mean, he also launched the careers of people like Martin Scorsese. He did the original Little Shop of Horrors, which I think the guy that wrote this co-wrote. Like, he did a lot of like, didn't he? He knew how to make not much money look like a lot more money. Yeah, and obviously bang out these films to try and.
Oh, he's definitely busy.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
is he dead? It must be dead. Surely.
I think he might be.
No, he's not dead.
Oh,
he's 96.
Oh, okay.
Still alive. Yeah,
good for him. Yeah, good for him. So yeah, they kind of, you see the first pit stop, which is the first massive nude bit, where they're all getting massages. I did read. I mean, not great. I did read that both the women who in that scene were like, yeah, we don't want to do that. And Roger Corman was just like, because Sylvester Stallone basically said, I'm not going to show off anything. And they were like, oh, okay. And the woman that's Calamity Jane was like, well, I don't want to. And he was like, nah, well, you're going to have to. So they basically kind of, her and the other women that fight, basically got kind of bullied into being topless and stuff.
That's why her hair is like taped to her boobs, isn't it? In nearly every shot.
Yeah.
And I bet he was like, you've got to do one way the hair goes back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit.
Yeah.
It's just so unnecessary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very,
so
yeah.
just not needed.
No, not really. No, it is.
It was in the 70s.
I know, yeah.
In the 70s.
But
you get an interesting little bit here where this woman comes up to Frankenstein and she's from the St. Louis Lovers of Frankenstein. And he's all just like, oh, you want me to have sex with you? And she's like, oh, no. And then it turns out that they're like obsessive fans who put themselves in the way so that he'll score like easy points, I guess.
They like sacrifice one day.
Yeah.
It happens later on, doesn't it? He runs her over.
But it's quite... Yeah. I mean, that is what this film... I think in a way this film does do that kind of very dark comedy. It is, I think, much better than Rollerball. It's very obvious what it's trying to say, but it's kind of having fun saying. It's not pretentious, I don't think.
Yeah.
This film, it knows it's quite trashy. You know, it knows it needs to keep you entertained, but it's still trying to make some points here and there, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's hit and run political satire in the fact that, like, each bit is literally done in seconds and gone. There's no, like, hand-wringing or overanalyzed stuff like that.
No.
And it is so, like all these films, it's pretty obvious what's going on. Like, the satire of, like, you know, 20th century, like, media, you know, obsession with violence, blah, 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 etc. All these things. So you don't need to belabor the point, do you?
No.
You might just run someone over and that's it and have some fun with
it.
So.
Yeah.
It's a shame they don't do anything as edgy as this now, because in some ways culture's even worse, and it's like they just don't show any...
I mean, the problem is,
extreme,
but how do you satirise now? Like, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
I think the film I've seen that is the nearest to this modern day is... Oh, God, what was it called? It was a film that came out and it got... The release got stunted because there was a shooting just before it came out. But it's about...
That's the problem.
Yeah. It's about a bunch of really ultra left wingers who basically put right wing people. They basically hunt them. They just drop them all off in this like town, and they just hunt them. Basically, I think it is called The Hunt. Basically.
Oh, I've seen it. It's that. Oh,
yeah. They wake up on
Is that? Yeah, it's this. It's the one set in like Brazil or somewhere, isn't it?
Well, they think they're in. They think they're in like some hick town. I think it is called The Hunt. They think they're in a hick town, but then it turns out they're in somewhere in weird like Eastern Europe, and everything's controlled basically.
Yeah,
and I think it does get this. What's good about it is it's not saying that the right wing people are correct or the left wing people are correct. Everyone is kind of wrong, and it's quite.
It is called The Hunt.
Yeah,
right?
It's very dark and it's very violent, but it works really well. Like, there's this great bit in that where they're on a train and there are these like immigrants who are on the train, and the main woman's with this right wing bloke, and he's like, "Oh, they're just they're fake. They're fake. They're not immigrants." She's like, "No, there's children here and stuff like they're not actors." And then they get off at this kind of like checkpoint, and the one that's been translating is like, "Oh, thank you so much, thank you." And then he's like, I'll take you to wherever," and he is basically just been playing a part. Like, so it's got this constant like it flip flops around. But that's the nearest I've seen to this kind of like, and it's very entertaining. I would recommend it. So yeah, more stuff, more crazy chases. There's a literal like Wile E. Coyote fake tunnel moment where they put a fake like on, and she just like Calamity Jane just like drives off the cliff, doesn't she? And just explodes. So obviously, more races are being taken out by the terrorists.
Kind of gets tired, doesn't it? Because it is just like sketches, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And I think the first bit till they get to the thing, it's good, and the breaks are good.
Yeah.
The second time out, it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it kind of sagging. It's sagging a bit, isn't it? Yeah, it sags. A
saggy
bit.
middle.
Saggy middle. So yeah, sorry, that's Matilda the Hun dies in that one. So yeah, they've lost 2 drivers, and
but she's run over the assistant, doesn't she? Of
oh yeah, she runs over the navigator, doesn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. So the other one's chasing her to try and get her back.
Yeah. So then at this next stop off, we get a confrontation between basically Sylvester Stallone goes to try and kill Frankenstein's navigator, and then they have this really weird fight. But it's so odd to think that that's David Carradine and Sylvester Stallone. Basically, it's like Kill Bill and Rambo. Like, it's kind of like
it's very like they live sort of fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not a good fight.
Went on too long.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like throwing each other, isn't it? And like very red blood and stuff like that. Yeah,
David Carradine's not very good, is he?
He's a bit one note, isn't he? I mean, I think Sylvester Stallone's a lot better than he is.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
Yeah, Sylvester's just yelling at people and just getting really. He's just really angry all the way through, isn't he?
I don't think much of David Carradine. Also, because of what he's wearing and how he died, I just couldn't stop thinking about how he died.
Yeah.
In his wardrobe.
No. And especially because he is wearing a gimp outfit in this.
That's it. Like I was thinking, was he into that this time?
Yeah.
Was he doing that on set?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, do you know what I should...
Brought his own.
Do you know what I should wear? I should wear a gimp suit for this. You really, David?
Turned up in it.
Yeah.
You're Frankenstein's monster. No, I'm going to be a gimp, thank you.
Yeah. So we're on the last leg of the race, basically. And it's really down to, isn't it? It's down to Sylvester Stallone and David Carradine. And at this point, so the navigator's going to drug Frankenstein, but she doesn't. She cops out, doesn't she? Because they've had sex. I don't know why they've had sex, but although it is the kind of navigator's job to have sex with the driver, isn't it?
She always has sex, and then she always dies.
Yeah. So then the lieutenant from the Rebel Army has a plane, a very weird-looking plane, and he starts attacking Frankenstein. But then the way they flip it in the commentary is they say that it's the French Air Force have declared war on America, and that this is their kind of strike. They're trying to kill Frankenstein because he's a national treasure or something like that. Like,
kind of goes mad, doesn't it? Really, this end bit.
It does go mad.
It's all over the place.
It gets more mad because Frankenstein refuses to take his glove off, and it's because his hand is a literal hand grenade. isn't it? It's like it's had.
I like how you keep in explaining this film. You keep going a literal. Everything.
It is.
Literal.
Well, it is, isn't it? His hand is a literal hand grenade. And the kind of twist is with Frankenstein that he wants to. She thinks he's evil, but he wants to win because then he gets to shake the president's hands and blow him up. And they also imply at this point, although it's kind of sketched over, they imply that he's like one of he's like the seventh Frankenstein or something.
I like that idea though.
Yeah.
Because he was like born in a facility, doesn't he? A government facility, and he's trained his whole life to be the best racer.
It's a bit near.
Yeah, so all that beginning bit when they're saying, "Oh, he survived this and he survived that," and he's obviously he didn't survive any of those things.
No, and that's why he's got the mask, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they don't know it's different. Right?
Yeah. So she kind of.
Oh, and that's why they kill the navigator, I suppose, so they can't tell the fact that he's changing each time.
Yeah, true.
Well, it covers that up.
Yeah. So his navigator's on board now. And there's this big kind of race to the end, which is all. I mean, all the race stuff looks fine, doesn't it? It's not, I
like the race stuff. What I don't like is the shots when they have attached the camera to the front of the car and it's wobbling like that. Makes me a bit sick. There's a few. They don't do it all the time. Some of the shots have not done it, but there's a few shots, especially in Carradine's car, where it's so wobbly, and I just makes me feel a bit motion sick.
That kind of Blair Witch project.
I think you have to have quite a complicated setup to have a car like that, and I think they've just bolted it to the front of the car.
Yeah, I think so. No.
But what I didn't get there was sometimes it wasn't. I guess perhaps other times they're not actually moving either.
It might have been someone sat with it before, to take out some of the.
Right.
So yeah, basically the very end. What's it's killed, isn't he? Machine Gun Kelly's killed as well. And then he's the only survivor. And there's this kind of Mr. President's going on about their war with France, and it's gonna they're gonna start. This is like a great way to start the war. And then Frankenstein goes, oh yes, that's it. Sorry, they use the hand grenade to defeat Machine Gun Kelly, don't they?
Yeah.
So then
he's not called Machine Gun Kelly. That's a band, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
That's a guy. Okay. A musician guy.
Yeah. You've got. There's two. There's Calamity Jane's called Kelly, isn't it? And it's Machine Gun Viterbo.
Oh yeah.
So you've combined them.
I put them into one character. Yeah, into the band. Maybe they got their name from that. I don't know.
Maybe they did.
So instead of
from you just saying.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they made the same mistake. They were talking about it and made the same mistake.
Yeah, maybe.
So instead of Frankenstein going to kill the president, Annie's dressed up as Frankenstein. She tries to kill the president, but she's shot. But then basically he just drives his car into the podium and kills the president. Yeah. And there's this weird Rollerball ending where everyone just chants his name, which is exactly the same ending as Rollerball, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
That's probably how they used to celebrate things like that in the 70s.
Just by chanting people's names.
Yeah.
That's just what everyone did.
Yeah, maybe.
They still do. Americans love a chant, don't they?
They do. Yeah. Like when they killed Osama bin Laden, it was always like USA.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
And then there's this kind of weird little bolted on ending where Mr. and Mrs. President Frankenstein are married, and Thomasina's there now, and everything's going to change, and the race is abolished. And then there's this weird. There's this very weird voiceover over the credits, talking about like the violence from Neanderthals. I was trying to get. I was trying to get what he said. I couldn't find the script or what he's saying.
It's like the history of violence, wasn't it?
They were trying to. Yeah, it's trying to make some Space Odyssey sort of.
Yeah.
He was extended meaning.
It's like going how Neanderthals, their brains expanded through the use of violence to get tools, and the intelligence was linked to violence, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's weird that as well, the way he starts on camera, doesn't he? He's narrating it in the thing, and then just cuts the credits, cuts them off, and just keeps going.
No, it's really odd. And also, I didn't watch all of that, so it's just people are going to sit in the cinema and just be like, oh yeah, I'll listen to this.
Let's say at the end.
No, you're not going to bother.
Well, there's nothing else to do in the 70s, so
I guess so.
Watch it.
So and that is Death Race 2000. Now, I've got written that the director said that him and Roger Corman had a disagreement over comedy, and that Roger Corman took a lot of the comedy scenes out to make it, I guess, more violent and more boobs and stuff like that. But he said he said that the director said he may have been right and was probably more objective. Because I think it's...
I mean, it's not exactly serious, is it?
No, I think it's quite well balanced. Like, I think if it was too much comedy, it wouldn't really work.
I didn't take it seriously, though. I did think it was stupid.
Yeah, no, it is, but it knows it's stupid, doesn't it?
Perhaps it was more like exploitation, kind of like, you know, Russ Meyer-y kind of like real slapsticky nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, he said in 1982, he said, most of my guilty pleasures in this film were ripped out by the roots by Roger Corman before the film ever saw the light of day and substituted with crushed heads and blood squibs. Nevertheless, there is a joke about the French wrecking our economy and telephone system that I still find amusing, and I'm pleased by the scenes introducing the girl fan, played very effectively by my sister Wendy, who is sacrificing herself beneath the wheels of David Carradine's race car and wants to meet him so that gesture will have meaning. So, but I think Roger Corman was right. I think if this film was too much comedy or comment, I think it'd be a bit boring. Like, you know.
Did you know that David Carradine refused to wear leather?
No.
For this film, and so they had to come up with some like leather substitute.
Oh, okay.
To make his outfit.
What's leather substitute? Just plastic?
I don't know. I'm not sure what it is.
He must have fucking sweated his arse.
Perhaps that's where he got his predilection for, you know.
Oh, maybe
doing what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. So weirdly,
also Peter Fonda was supposed to play Frankenstein, which is hilarious. But
I can't imagine that.
I've written that down. Where did I write that? He considered the movie too ridiculous for words and turned them down.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Weirdly, so we're watching the remake of this, but there was a comic book sequel series. But there is actually a sequel to this, an official sequel called Death Race 2050, produced by Roger Corman and released in 2017. I can't imagine.
When Roger Corman was 92. I guess he's going to have got much to do with it.
Yes, I can't imagine.
Malcolm McDowell's in it.
As who?
I watched the trailer. He's like playing like a Trump sort of... He's the president, I suppose. He's like a very Trump sort of president.
Does it look good? What does it look like?
No, it looked awful. It looked
okay.
absolutely awful.
Because I feel like this kind of film can be made at this point, but you can't make this kind of film... Because you get like Sharknado, don't you? You get like, oh, we know it's bad. Like, oh, we're doing it like...
Yeah, you can make a B-movie of it.
Yeah.
You can't make it as a serious thing.
No, so it doesn't work modern day, does it? You can't...
88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's weird.
Perhaps like only 2 people reviewed it.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that is Death Race 2000, the 1975 film. What did we all think? Chris, what were your thoughts?
I just thought it was silly and stupid and very much like of the era. Like, we've seen a few of these recently, haven't we? These 70s sort of...
Yeah.
Don't need much of an excuse to get some tits out.
Violence.
Violent. Dystopian, but kind of with a 70s lens.
Yeah. Were you entertained?
I mean, yeah, I do like the race stuff. The race stuff looked great. I do like the fun of all that, but you're right in the sense of like they are like sketches.
Yeah.
And when you've kind of been through a few of them, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
This could be split up into like episodes of Wacky Races.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Sam?
They should make a cartoon version, shouldn't they? Like this absolute crazy violence.
An adult version of Wacky Races.
Yeah.
Or manga. Like if Japan got this,
and you can basically do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, Thingy was a bit like this, wasn't it? Redline was kind of a bit like this.
Yeah.
There
was a giant baby at the end of that.
Yeah, there was.
I pretty much the same as Chris. Really, I was really on board at the start. I like the look of it. I love Sylvester Stallone in it. I think he's great fun. And yeah, it's like we said, they know what they're doing. They know the tone they're going for, and they achieve it, don't they?
Yeah.
Which I think is always good if they get what they're what they're capable of, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it did go on too long.
Yeah. And it isn't long.
And it isn't long. No, it's like 80 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The ending I didn't think was very good.
No.
And Carradine's not very good, but it's not like. It's not a classic, but it's a fine movie.
Yeah. No, see, I liked it. I remember seeing it a long time ago and I didn't really think much of it. But I liked it more this time. And I really, like I say, Rollerball was so pretentious and it's just even the rollerball bits of Rollerball were quite boring, and Rollerball just doesn't work. But this was at least entertaining. It was silly. You know,
and you understood what was going on.
Yeah, and there was a plot, and pacing was it does drag, it just sags a bit, but the pacing's not bad. And I think Sylvester Stallone's very good in it. David Carradine's just a bit. He's on autopilot a bit, isn't he?
I just don't think he's a very good actor.
No.
It's he didn't get much of a career, did he, after Kung Fu? Did he really?
No,
he's not very good.
No, it's only really Tarantino being that obsessed with him that made him kind of popular. I'd have to say he really. Kung Fu is the only thing he did, really. But it's entertaining. I think some of the satire works in there. I think, like I say, I couldn't help but keep comparing it, and it came off a lot better than Rollerball.
I can say clearly better than Rollerball.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah.
So that helps us because Rollerball rolls in at 209 in the list. So how much better is Death Race 2000?
It's a fair bit better.
Fair bit better.
I don't think we're talking...
it spawned a whole franchise.
Yeah, but...
Weirdly. A weird franchise.
Have you seen, actually, there's more than just that 2015 one. There's Death Race Beyond Anarchy, and then the one we're going to watch in 2 weeks, it's got 2 sequels as well.
Yes. So there's almost 2 series with 2 more sequels. Yeah, it's very odd.
And Danny Glover's in Death Race Beyond Anarchy.
Really?
He'll do anything, won't he? He's the new Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Danny Glover.
Yeah, he will do anything.
It's not for anything.
Or Danny Trejo.
Yes, he'll do anything as well.
He didn't really hit the heights of a Glover or Willis, did he, really? Danny Trejo.
Sadly not, no.
No, sadly not.
Well, how about, we've got Night of the Lepus is the rabbit horror film.
Better than that.
Is at 175. Running Man is above that. Yeah, it's better than those, isn't it? We're talking like...
Not much better, I think, but...
Oh, okay. We're saying like a...
Waterworld is 164.
Yeah, we're around a Waterworld here. Kind of dumb and entertaining, like the Guyver, like Johnny Mnemonic was. Like Insurrection.
Yeah.
Is it better than Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones?
Thing is, I think it's a better... I think what it's doing, it does better than a lot of these, but what it's doing, it's not trying to do much, is it?
No,
that's the problem.
No, so
I'd probably put it just one above Valerian, 167.
My only thing I would say, you both absolutely despise Attack the Block, and that's at 157.
Yeah, but that's
that's an anomaly of the.
I agree with Chris. I think it's not as good as Water, because Waterworld's flawed, but the scope's so much greater, isn't it? Than
so above Valerian. But below Toys, because Toys is...
Toys has got a lot going for it.
Yeah.
Artistic value.
Definitely. No,
Toys one, the more time passes since we watched that, the more I want to watch it again.
Visually Toys is amazing. And also, it's a great LL Cool J film. And hey, what a lovely segue I've just...
Well, do you remember we saw that, though? We said, I can't remember who said it. One of us said that if LL Cool J is your best actor in your film, you're in trouble.
Well...
That's a segue.
So talking of LL Cool J, anyway, so going back, that is Death Race 2000 slotted in at 167, just below Toys and above Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. So next week we will be heading to the Rollerball remake, the 2002 Rollerball remake, and Chris will be rollering his way.
Me, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
Is it me? Is it you, Chris?
I don't.
No, it's you. It's Sam.
It's me, yeah.
Sam will be rollering his way all over us, just slamming that ball, going through the
poking out the rabbit hole,
going up the rabbit hole, and slamming that ball in our faces. And that'll be Rollerball next time, and then after that will be the Death Race remake, which is Chris, and then after that it will be
stop. Nothing. Don't say anything else. Just in case we change it. People don't
I've
know
got some ideas
ahead.
for some future films. I'll run by you.
It'll be a Star Trek.
No, it's not.
No, it won't be a Star Trek. Anyway, any correspondence, Sam?
Who knows? I've not looked in a while. Okay. I'll try and look in the break, shall I?
Does anyone...
We check them every day. Please keep on sending
them.
Yes. Thank you.
Have you seen Prey, Chris?
Prey, yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Good.
Good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Can we do a spoiler on Prey?
We did a spoiler.
Yeah, we've spoiled it already, but you spoiler away.
I liked it, and I don't know if they're going to do more films, but I think like you could literally just do a lot more of them. Like
Different time period ones, you mean?
Different time.
Yeah.
You could literally go all the way through like human history, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Well,
Like just the local humans getting fucked up.
Alex, you well, I won't say a schism, but you found the difference in opinion about where to go next, didn't you, on your interviews?
Yes. Yeah, the director, because I asked the director what time period he'd go to next, and he said, I can't really say because anything I say will be taken like as that's what I'm doing. But then when I was talking to the producer and the actress, the producer was very much like, oh, yeah, we see this as the beginning of a new like franchise and we'll return back to this story. So they obviously want to go right back to the Comanches and carry on.
Oh, right,
So
It's not the right thing to do.
no, it's not the right thing to do.
Well, it's not, no, because it needs to be about prey and about like the different planets and the different cultures that it lands on and fucks up.
Yeah. No, they're getting it wrong if they think that it works because it's a one-off. I don't think it keeps working if you just
Didn't
keep
you say as well,
doing it.
Alex, at the end of the credits, they show Predators coming back, don't they?
Yeah, they show ships in the air, 3 ships in the air. So...
No.
They always have to just go too far with
do,
Predator, I think, don't they? Like, I liked the style, the design of the Predator.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like a more feral version.
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
it?
it looks great. I love the way it looks. It's really well thought out as well. Because he said that because he doesn't wear armour, that's why they gave him the shield. But then the shield is used as like, he tries to he can slice people's heads off and stuff like that. And
yeah, it's great.
it's really, they must have gone through so many designs to get to that. Like, I'd love to see some of the alternate versions that they, you know.
I think I follow like one of the art directors on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Put stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Good.
It should be. I should have seen it on the big screen though.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? Alex did.
Yeah, I did, but it's only a real fluke, really.
Yeah.
It's only a fluke that I did. So many.
Hopefully they realise
Yeah.
they do a limited release of it.
I think that, it seems like there's like enough buzz. I mean, on where I work and we have a request board, it keeps getting written up on the request board, and people don't realise this. Like you sent me that thing. It's like it's Disney, isn't it? They're stopping it. They won't allow it to be in a cinema.
Well, if they show it in cinema, the streaming rights would have gone to Warner Brothers or someone like that.
Or HBO was it? Or
HBO? Yeah, that's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because it's a pre. It was started before Disney bought Fox, so they've got existing streaming deals there that say those films they bought that were in production at Fox.
Yeah.
If they go to cinema, streaming rights go to Warner Brothers because they've got an existing deal to do that. So to get the streaming rights to put onto Hulu and Disney Plus, they can't release it in cinemas. But the thing is, that didn't stop them with West Side Story and things like that. So it's, you know,
They broke
there are films from before the Fox buyout that they did release in cinemas. So it's I don't know.
well, there you go. There was a little Prey spoiler from Chris, and so that's Death Race, and we'll be rollerballing at you next week. So from a very good friend of mine, Chris, and another very good friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, Sam.
A
dear friend. Goodbye.
Bye.
Why only if I get very good?
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the quote was. It was fucking ages ago when we watched these. God's sake, right?